2023 is going to be the most important year for the StarCraft 2 community. It could as well be the last year for its esports. The game pretty much reached the crossroads, and every turn could bring different consequences. This is the deciding year for this strategy and its future. And here's why. Let's start with some bad news. The deal between Blizzard Entertainment and ESL is over. In 2020, they both signed a 3-year-long contract to run StarCraft 2 esports, and the last event we are going to see is IM Katowice 2023. After that, nobody knows whether ESL is going to continue supporting this scene or not. Without them, we won't have such a big scale of esports in our favorite RTS, so it's pretty important. To counter this, here's some good stuff. GSL continues in 2023, which gives a lot of hope to me. Why? Because GSL has been doing a lot worse than EPT and ESL, and the Korean scene isn't really that alive compared to European or even North American. So if they decided to keep going, there is a high chance that ESL will stick around for one more year. Additionally, there will be more tournaments from smaller organizers. Chinese leagues, Home Story Cup, online stuff, and so on. As you probably know, Activision Blizzard had a lot of failures in the last couple of years, prior to the acquisition by Microsoft. This gave a new hope for StarCraft 2 fans, because we've already seen how Microsoft treats its other projects. Take Age of Empires 4 for instance. Even though it had a rough start, they still inject money into its esports and constantly update the new RTS. Microsoft could probably do the same with StarCraft 2. However, there is one problem. The Federal Trade Commission of the United States tries to block the agreement, and the acquisition might simply not go through at all. In that case, StarCraft 2 will be left in the hands of Activision Blizzard, and we know how they care about this game, which is really sad. Apart from that, the economy isn't doing great either. Many call it the Great Recession, and it affects esports as well. First, the marketing budget is being cut, which means there is less promotional tournaments, less need for teams and players, and there is less money overall. Second, any non-profitable or less attractive projects are just thrown to the trash can. It's not likely that StarCraft 2 is generating much money, if it's still generating any, so any kind of economic troubles put our favorite game in danger. But of course, it's not the first time StarCraft 2 is called dead. If you think it is, you must check out my latest video where I debunk this myth. The game is still alive and kicking, even though it shrinked in size significantly. However, at the same time, we saw a big rise in YouTube content, as well as views and watch time. But simultaneously, Twitch numbers are getting lower and lower each year. And yet it's very hard to tell how things are going, because the past 2 years were very unusual due to COVID-19, and most games had a great rise during the lockdown period. Pretty much the same happened with StarCraft 2. Here's also one good part of 2023. The community has finally taken hold of the development process. With the latest patch in production, we can hope to see a lot of new updates being released in the future. A team of pro gamers designed the game now, and that's really great. And unlike it was with Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft 2 is probably going to stay fresh for the next year at the very least. And it's, of course, very good news for online matchmaking and esports likewise. But now let's talk about the most serious threat StarCraft 2 has to face. Throughout the last 12 years, the game had no real competition in esports. Yes, there were Dota or League, but they are just not the same genre. StarCraft 2 has been the king of RTS for the last decade, and even Age of Empires 4 couldn't change the stalemate. But Stormgate can. It's the first time StarCraft 2 will be facing a strong rival. Stormgate's developers are mostly ex-Blizzard employees, they have a lot of experience and they are aiming to make the biggest AAA esports RTS. And that's a serious threat. The game is going to be released in 2024, and if it's very successful, StarCraft 2 is going to have a hard time staying alive with no active development process behind it. So this year is pretty important. Every view, every comment, every like and every match means a lot to StarCraft 2. The future depends on how well the game will perform this year, how many people it will attract and how many sponsors still decide to support it for the next year and maybe even for 2024. So let's hope it will deliver. Don't miss out on its great history, watch this video next and see you later.